Welcome to the channel. Tessie here, and on this channel we discuss so many things, viral topics, my lifestyle, better outcomes for Black women and women in general in dating and more. So grab yourself a glass of something nice, come and sit down with me and let's have a discussion. So as you can see, I've got a bottle of sparkling water here, and I am currently in my holiday apartment. I am in Berlin. I am on holiday with my friend, and I'm in an interracial relationship. I am Nigerian. My husband-to-be is Polish. We're getting married in a few months, and we are expecting our first child. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash the subscribe button because there's going to be something really interesting we're going to talk about today. And the first topic, we're going to be splitting into two. The first one, we're going to talk about why women should date on their educational level, especially Black women. I've made a video on why they should date on their finance level, but it's also educational level. And then we're going to talk about why single women, successful women especially, should really not be dating men with kids, or that should not be their first choice. So let's get into it. One of the reasons why Black women really need to make sure they date on their educational level is because, have you noticed, you've seen all those videos of Black men popping up on podcasts talking about how Black women we don't care about your degrees and all of that. And I find that very interesting. Not only is it incredibly hypocritical, right, but it also shows you the state of the community itself. And I'll tell you why, because the reality for a lot of Black men across the world, that's in US, that's in Africa, that's in UK, wherever, is that a large majority of Black men would not have a penny to their name if not for their degrees and their education. Many of them do not come from two-parent households or even generational wealth. And I come from a two-parent household. I know how much of an advantage that has given me in life, right? The investment they've put into me. And many Black men do not come from those types of homes or generational wealth. And so for many of them, the only reason they've been able to get high paying jobs or been able to get any sort of, money at all is the degrees that they've essentially been able to, garner. So they're now telling you Black women that you shouldn't get educated and that your degrees don't mean anything. And that is incredibly asinine and demonic, because they don't seem to realize that any community where a woman, especially the women of the community, if they're not empowered and if they're not able to be educated, that community will fail. And it's very, very important that Black women realize that you must stay on your educational level, not just your financial level, but your educational level, right? I have a master's degree in international business, and Greg has a master's degree in economics. My parents both have PhDs and they've been married 40 years, right? And my sister and her husband, they both have degrees. It's very important. Listen, I want you to understand, if you look at immigration, right? And me and Greg, we discuss immigration all the time. If you look at immigration, when you see the type of men that immigrate, the countries that they're running away from, right? Those countries are countries where women don't have rights. They don't have rights to study, have educational opportunities, rights to work, or even rights to build property and a wealth of their own. And that place becomes unlivable for them. So they jump on the smallest boats possible. They save money and they spend thousands just to run away and economically migrate to another country or another continent where women have more educational rights, more financial power, more opportunities to build properties. And they come to places like the UK, the US, they come to places like Germany and Australia, and they see women with education, degrees, properties, money. And they don't see the correlation between where they're coming from and where they're going to, the differences in the fact that women are educated there and the power it gives those countries and continents. They don't see that. Instead, all they go on about is how women shouldn't be this, women shouldn't be that. And listen, men don't seem to understand that you can be a provider while the woman is educated. It's about your ego. It's not one or the other. In fact, me being educated and Greg being a provider has made our family so much more successful. Okay, now we're having a kid, right? And let me tell you something, as a Black woman, it's incredibly important that you are educated and your partner is educated, especially if you want to have children, because you need to plan for that child's life before they're even alive. We have a spreadsheet and we track our individual net worths and our family net worths on there. And just being educated has helped us to understand whether we could afford having a baby or not. And we realized, oh my God, we can. And actually, one of the things that Greg didn't like about his ex is that she wasn't educated, and it wasn't her fault. Do you think she wouldn't want the chance to be educated if she could? And so when I see Black men on podcasts talking about how Black women, they don't care about Black women's degrees, they don't realize that they are killing their own communities, right? Because at the end of the day, they do not have the history of being providers. So it is very important that Black women have their own education, because not only, do you deserve to be provided for, but you also deserve to have agency and a chance of your own. It's why many of men across the world, especially Black men, they leave African countries and they're looking for countries where they have access to opportunity. So it's not right for them to try and take that away from you. If you're a single woman, you are doing well, you're successful, you should not be looking at men with kids as your first choice. That doesn't mean people with kids don't deserve love. They do. But there are plenty of men out there who don't have kids. My previous 3 relationships, they didn't have kids, right? There are men out there who don't have kids, and you need to ask them, do they have kids? Because men know when they give you multiple kids, it reduces your options, and they'll lie to you about how many kids they have. So ask.